Hi, everybody. Welcome to my presentation on the app ClassDojo for use in assessment of grade level outcomes in physical education. My name is Michelle Maciejewski, and I'm a graduate student at SUNY Cortland in the MST program for physical education, and also a staff member at the Jamesville DeWitt School District in substitute teaching and coaching modified cross-country and varsity level indoor and outdoor track and field. Without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you and present to you the app ClassDojo. All right, so ClassDojo, use for assessing student behavior in physical education. The grade level outcome that I am assessing in using this app is the standard 4 for grade 2, standard 4 in the shape, so that's the Society of Health and Physical Educators Shape America's National Standards. Standard 4 just basically deals with responsible personal and social behavior in respect of self and others. So that is standard 4. And the national outcome that I am specifically assessing is S4E12, which says the physically literate person practices skills with minimal teacher prompting in grade 2. I chose this for second grade classes that I've been teaching at the elementary school in Jamesville DeWitt School District because they have difficulty staying on task throughout class. I think that it's really important that students are able to have this skill, because that means that as the teacher, I can spend less time trying to tell kids to stay on task and more time actually teaching the skills and psychomotor development that we're trying to teach in class. The assessment is the app itself, ClassDojo. It's a communication and assessment app that you can use on mobile devices and PCs. What I did for this assessment was just created the classrooms, populating the student names and class names to track data, which is their positive and negative behaviors. And then I introduced the app to the students. They had never used ClassDojo in physical education. So I talked about what it was, told them how they could earn points, and that would earn them an incentive of a sticker. So that way they would have more interest and participation in this. Then I conducted the actual assessment, which was to give and take points during class, which was a soccer skills lesson. And I gave points when they stayed on task, when they persisted through each task. And I didn't say this, but anytime I saw them not staying on task and I had to tell them to get back on task, I took away points. And then at the end, I gave stickers to any student that had at least 3 points, which every class did because they're awesome. But this is what it looked like. I created the class. This is the an example of a class I created on the left, and on the right-hand side, this shows you the positive behaviors that you can give points for. Specifically, I was looking at on task, participating, and persistence in this assessment. So in the classroom, I have my typical attendance sheet, and I'm showing you some of the stickers that I used as rewards. I think the app itself was really engaging and motivating for students. They liked looking at it. They liked the idea of getting points, and they wanted to earn the most points of the class. But I also like giving a tangible reward to reinforce that good behavior, something that reminds them even later on in the day that staying on task is something that should be rewarded. And now I'm going to present to you the tutorial that I created on how to set up and use ClassDojo in your elementary PE classes. Hi, welcome to my screencast tutorial on using the app ClassDojo. So I am using the app ClassDojo in order to assess students in elementary physical education. Specifically, I'm addressing the grade level outcome under standard 4 for second graders, and this glow is S4E12, which is the physically literate student should practice skills with minimal teacher prompting. So I chose ClassDojo as the app because it is a wonderful app for not only managing your class, but also managing different kinds of behaviors and creating different reward systems for good and bad behavior. So if you would like to download ClassDojo, you're going to go to the App Store, or if you're on Android or a computer, you can search ClassDojo and find it on platforms. And please ignore my 10,000 unread emails. That's a spam email. All right, so we're going to open up App Store. And then in order to find it, like I said, we just search ClassDojo, which comes up right here. And it's usually the first one, the little karate monster guy, get it, dojo, will pop up, and then you would click get. In my case, I already have it, so I'm going to tap open. That's going to take me right to the app. When you first open it up, if you do not have an account, it'll prompt you to create your own account. So you just put in your information, find the school that you teach at. So currently I'm long-term subbing at Moses DeWitt Elementary School, just outside of Syracuse. And then it creates your profile. Once you're there, it has a demo class. And you can just tap add class to start creating your own classes. So on the day that I did this assessment, I had 3 different teachers from 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. And that was Bart, Bishop, and Lewis. So for each of those classes, what I did, so I'll use Bart as an example. I went in and I put in the names of all the students for that cohort that were attending class, right? So you would just tap add a student, start typing in their name. It has to be either full name or first name and initial. All right, so let's just I'll do my own. So Michelle M, add, and then once it's done, there I am, and it automatically populates in a little monster. If you want, you can actually go and edit, change the monster. It's, I'll say it's my birthday, save changes, and then new monster. Okay. So from there, you can actually add separate groups. So for instance, right now, a lot of our schools have cohort A, Monday, Tuesday, and then cohort B, Thursday, Friday. So you can customize it that much. Okay. So that's the first step, is just creating each classroom. Okay. If you notice, I have different names for each class. Okay. So the class that I assessed, grade 2, is Bishop. So if we take a look, I had 6 students for that day. And what I did was I explained this app to all the students. So I told them that I was going to be using a new app in class. First, I would take their attendance using it, which means I tap attendance, mark each of them here. If they weren't here, you would tap the little icon next to their name, and you can mark them as absent, late, left early, and those are the categories. If they're all absent, you can tap all absent, or all here, tap all here, and then hit save. Okay, so that's for each class. It's great because then once you start using the other functions, if some of the students aren't there, then it won't include them. All right, so for instance, you can sort students. If you tap more here on the top, you can create groups, which is really useful if you have to make fair groups for small activities. It just randomly does it, and then there's no choosing groups, no favoring anybody, and most importantly, no captains that choose their friends, okay, or the more physically literate kids. So if you mark somebody absent, they won't be included in that. All right, so once I explained this to the kids, I said, today we're going to be practicing soccer skills. So anytime that you can stay on task, either in our warm-ups, doing trapping, dribbling, or during some of our soccer traveling games, if I noticed that you were able to stay on task and I didn't have to tell you to stay on task, I would tap their name, find the category of good behavior that I noticed. So for instance, this one I said on task. Right, so you tap that, it gives them a point, says what the point is for. You can even add a note if you want, and says, dribbled while I helped another student with their skills, which is great. If you notice the whole class has really good on-task behavior, you would tap class and you can give them all, let's say they're all persisting, right? It's a hard skill, but they're all trying. You would tap that. Every single person gets a note or gets a point, and you can add a note. Stayed on task during red light, green light game. All right, and then that'll create a note. Now, those are good for yourself, good for the students, but also this communicates with parents. So if you do go in to each profile, you can, this isn't where you do it, but you can go and do messaging and invite their parents and send them notes. Hey, so-and-so did this today, great job. But as you notice, when I tapped on each person, it did give a profile where you can redeem their points. And if they're going to use their points, you can say what they're redeeming them for. Lunch with teacher doesn't seem like a really good reward, but that could be one thing. Or maybe choose the warm-up game or first in line to head outside. So this app is great because it helps you manage your class. It helps manage the skills or the behavior you're trying to reinforce and gives you a way to reward those students. I chose to use a tangible reward of giving anybody who had at least 3 points by the end of class a sticker on their way out. It was really a great tool for that. The kids loved it, and I hope you enjoy. Now, thank you for watching that. I'm sorry about the end of the video getting cut, but I just said thank you for watching that presentation. So after I did this assessment in the second grade class, I observed that all 6 of the students in the class did achieve that grade level outcome of staying on task with minimal prompting. So in our on-task warm-ups, or they were on-task and warm-ups, which is some running or jogging and some stretching and some strength exercises. They were on task when we started to do the trapping skills and dribbling. A few of them I did have to reprompt. They did, like I said, lose some points, but then they gained them again when we did our ending challenge of red light, green light, and had very minimal prompting. So at the end, again, the students all achieved that minimum of 3 points. So they earned a sticker, and as they left the classroom, they all received their sticker. So great job, Ms. Bishop's class. I thought the assessment was successful. The students learned to stay on task without having me tell them to. That's, again, been a problem in a lot of classes, I think. Having to sit all day on computers and having to not be able to move too much, it really has changed their ability to focus. But again, being reminded, hey, there's a reward for this, or hey, you can earn points, that really helped. With that extra time that I had, instead of having to tell the kids to stay on task, I was able to help one of the students who was really less proficient in dribbling to work on that skill more. I was able to give them the cues and really help them practice that behavior. So students did meet the criteria of working on their own. A few did lose points, but they gained them back later. The thing is that you use the points mainly to reward and reinforce good behavior. It's better to do that than to tell them, hey, you guys did this wrong, so I'm taking away points. I did take away the points, but I used it mainly as a way to say, hey, you only have 1 point. You really still need to earn 2 more points. Make sure you do, 2 good things before the end of class. So it was used to take away points, but I didn't tell them that. Pros to using ClassDojo. It's super easy to set up, as you could see, to set up classes, to put in the students, and to invite parents on so you can communicate with them. So it's a great hub for discussion and showing skills and achievements. It's aesthetically pleasing and engaging for kids. The colors, the monsters, even the sounds. The kids want to see and use the app. And this is something you can project onto a large screen in a gymnasium so the kids can see it in real time as they earn their points and where they stand on a leaderboard. I don't have the ability to do that in my school, so I can't show you, but it is an option. And it's also an easy way to note good behavior and take photos and videos. And you can really look at and assess how the students are behaving after class. It's hard to really make note of that and address it in class, but if you have like a planning period, you can look at it later. Cons to using ClassDojo. You do need a device nearby in class. This is kind of tough because of PE. You're running around constantly. Honestly, my pants all have side pockets, so I can have my phone handy at all times in my pocket. Maybe you could even use a fanny pack for that. But yeah, that's a problem with that. And also, if you want to project it on a screen, you have to have a screen and a computer and a projector. Some schools can't afford these kinds of equipment. You do have to make notes and award points during class. That can be distracting as a teacher, especially as a new teacher, where you're really trying to pay attention to the students and remember all of the cues that you're trying to tell them as well. So it can just add another layer that maybe you're not ready for. And the other thing is it encourages a lot of extrinsic motivation for good behavior instead of intrinsic, internally driven reasons for good behavior, which in the end is something we want to have students leave high school with. I think in the lower grade levels, it's okay, but it does encourage more, if I do this, I'm going to get something for it. So thank you so much for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a really great time and a lot of success using this in my class, especially since I'm substitute teaching and it's difficult to manage class behavior as a substitute. You can download ClassDojo at classdojo.com and check it out. All right, so I'm going to go back to unsharing my screen and again say thank you one more time for watching this. Have a great day.